All right, so in this video today, with our beautiful muse being the Nicole Smith, I want to talk a little bit about how to utilize your presence in certain social environments, maybe even when it comes to networking in a platonic capacity, etc. Understanding the power of your presence and maximizing that said power. And I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on a section that I've read from in the book In the Lion's Den in another video. And the excerpt is getting at the fact that when you have certain characteristics such as beauty and charm, and it benefits you as far as getting into certain spaces, you have to learn the art of utilizing those characteristics in moderation so that people can see, or they can perceive better yet, that you bring other valuable assets to the table, something beyond superficiality. And I believe that Anna Nicole Smith is the perfect example of how to do so. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hop right into this analysis. So in order to provide some context as far as what is meant by, utilizing certain characteristics and traits beyond a superficial level, I'm going to read directly from that excerpt in the book. And it reads, superficial traits such as beauty and charm can open doors for you, but they can just as easily push you out of those spaces if misused or over-relied. These traits should be viewed as tools to enhance your position, not as the foundation of your character or competence. Relying solely on beauty and charm as a blueprint may cause others to underestimate your abilities, assuming you lack substance. This overemphasis can also provoke unnecessary competition and envy, making you a target for criticism or exclusion. While beauty is subjective, societal norms and cultural standards often define benchmarks for success and attractiveness, which can foster comparison and judgment. And to elaborate a little bit more on how beauty or superficial traits can actually ignite feelings of envy, as described in that excerpt I just read from, you can actually dissect that deeper by reading another excerpt in the book Green Eyes. And the excerpt in particular is titled Beauty Envy. So understanding the concept of beauty envy is very important. However, in this analysis, I wanted to utilize Anna Nicole Smith because I believe that she learned how to utilize quote unquote superficial characteristics such as, physical attractiveness and charm, being someone who almost had like a characteristic of being the life of the party. She utilized these things to her benefit to position her for other opportunities. And I believe that that is the perfect example of maximizing whatever it is that you bring to a table. Now, to provide some context as far as what is meant by maximizing your characteristics, and I'm actually going to do so by reading an excerpt in the same book that I read from earlier, In the Lion's Den, Navigating Systems of Power, to provide some additional details. And the excerpt reads, systems of power embody the principle of survival of the fittest. Power is attained and sustained by those who wield relational acumen. Learn the art of achieving your goals despite opposition. That's the essence of maximization. Now, one of the first things that I believe stood out to me about Anna Nicole Smith's case is I think that her ability to maximize her traits, such as her being super bubbly, being the life of the party, clearly being beautiful, absolutely stunning, is she capitalized on a career field, on a path that would allow her to make the best of these said characteristics, right? So I've made a couple of videos over the past couple of weeks talking a little bit about navigating corporate settings, navigating even professional opportunities in a business or entrepreneurial capacity, and highlighting the fact that beauty envy typically poses a threat to specifically women. Not saying that it's only, a thing that women dealing with envy because of the way that they look or their physical appearance, but that was me making a video dedicated to women experiencing it because clearly that's what I've been exposed to in my life personally. And one of the videos, I believe, is titled Beauty Envy, how beautiful women are set up or something like that in business, something along those lines. But I was talking about how when you present yourself a certain way, and a lot of the time, a lot of women just can't help it. They are clearly, stunning in a physical capacity. They have something about them that draws in some kind of unique attention. But when they come into these spaces and they ignite that kind of attention, that typically poses a hindrance to their professional advancement. And it's because it typically ignites feelings of jealousy and envy, or maybe even people coming up with preconceived notions about this particular person, such as this person is incompetent, all they bring to the table is their looks. And one thing that I noted in that specific analysis is it's important for us to be fair and to acknowledge the fact that there may absolutely be instances where you may have been granted an opportunity because of your physical appearance. However, once you get into those spaces, you have to develop the mindset of maximizing other characteristics that will allow you to be successful in that professional space. So you don't give people ammunition to run with this narrative about you, such as all you bring to the table is, your charm or your physical appearance. And that's the only thing that you rely on, and you have no intentions of bringing anything of substance to the table. So it's important to take the good and the bad with the scenario and learn pretty much how to take lemons and make lemonade out of it. However, it's also important to note this. There are some environments where you may be outnumbered, and the biases that you are fighting up against are it's almost like the odds are already stacked against you. And every time you take one step forward, you're going to end up 10 steps backwards because your opposition outweighs those who are actually rooting for you and want to see you succeed. And in these instances, what people will do is they will set you up to be in some kind of compromising position. And there were other, excerpts from the book that I've read from and other analyses related to, dealing with some kind of beauty envy attack in a professional capacity, but also dealing with setups such as a romantic prospect coming your way. And if the office catches note of the fact that you may have been messing with a coworker, right, or you may have been messing with a colleague, then that can actually block you professionally. I know some people typically hear the opposite, but in certain environments that actually poses a threat against you because of, integrity's sake, right? People feeling like, okay, well, we can't necessarily trust this person because their MO is getting up under the right people in order to move up the ladder, and they're not necessarily exhibiting competency regarding the professional obligations and responsibilities. So I believe that I've actually dissected that point in my analysis on the hit TV series Scandal. And I believe the title is something along the lines of the cautionary tale of mixing business with pleasure, something like that. But I dived into that a little bit more. So all of these different elements are getting at the fact that, yes, these surface level traits such as physical attractiveness or charm being the life of the party, it can absolutely get you into certain spaces, but you have to prepare for a lot of the roadblocks and the attacks that may come with it. And the reason why I believe Nicole Smith was able to almost accelerate in an exceptional manner when it came to her bringing those types of traits to the table is she aligned herself with a professional opportunity or professional opportunities where those types of characteristics are the foundation of the work. So for example, getting a brand partnership with Guess. There were so many other things that she ended up branching out and doing as well. But the focus of it was clearly her personality, her being a quote unquote, public figure, people being familiar with her, people within those circles are becoming acquainted with her showing up at certain parties and rubbing shoulders and networking. And also too, just being somebody who many companies, many businesses would love to have as the face of their brand for some kind of partnership, because she was a head turner, just period, point blank. And also too, she had a pleasant and relatable, almost like a down to earth personality. So utilizing her as a muse of, whatever partnership at the time was a sweet spot of clearly being someone who was going to attract some kind of traction to the product because she was absolutely gorgeous, but also too, people being able to relate to her. And what they're able to note is the fact that she presented herself in a down to earth and personable, relatable manner. So that typically would bring in a decent amount of clientele. So in sum, what does Nicole Smith teach us? There's clearly power in your presence, but you become exceptionally powerful when you learn how to maximize it. And a prerequisite for maximization is assessing the environment that you're in. and analyzing whether or not your valuable attributes and characteristics are in alignment with the agenda and the objective of the environment at hand. All right, babes, that's all that I have for this analysis today with our beautiful muse, Anna Nicole Smith. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in, but of course, I want to hear you all's opinions, your perspectives, and your comments in the comment section below. I look forward to speaking to you guys in the next one. Take care, babes.